Welcome back, everyone. Before we dive in, make sure you drop your thoughts and the lessons you took from this story in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. My name is Janelle, and at 30 years old, I never imagined I would be standing in a billionaire's dining room being called street garbage. As my boyfriend, Andre, squeezed my hand under the table, his father, Reginald, stared at me with cold, measuring eyes. 23 guests froze as he snorted, "Street garbage in a borrowed dress," loud enough for everyone to hear. My blood turned to ice, and something unexpected rose inside me. I met Andre 7 months before that dinner. I was working mornings at Maple Street Cafe near the financial district in Boston, the flexible hours allowing me to attend evening classes for my graphic design degree. Every weekday at precisely 7:30 a.m., he would order a black coffee with 1 sugar and take the window seat with his laptop. Unlike most suited executives who never looked up from their phones, Andre made eye contact, said please and thank you, and left generous tips. He had kind eyes that crinkled when he smiled and carried a quiet calm that set him apart. "You must really like our coffee," I teased after 3 weeks of his routine. He smiled. "I do, but I also like the atmosphere and the service." The way he said it, holding my gaze a heartbeat longer, made my cheeks warm. I learned his name, Andre Langford, when I called his order. He started staying longer, asking about my classes during my breaks. I told him I grew up in a small Ohio town, raised by a single mother who worked any job she could find. I had moved to Boston to become a designer, and was paying my way through school. I did not mention the months I chose textbooks over electricity. "That takes determination," he said, with genuine admiration. Most people I know had everything handed to them, myself included, if I am honest. It was the first hint that Andre came from money, though he never flaunted it. He dressed well without flash. His watch was expensive but understated. His car was nice, but not the kind that announced itself. After a month, he asked me to dinner. We chose a small Italian restaurant, nicer than what I could afford, but not ostentatious. Conversation flowed. Andre was intelligent and humble, as interested in art and books as in business. "My family runs Langford Industries," he said. "I am in the investment division, but I want to build something of my own one day, something that actually helps people." I had never heard of Langford Industries, but later that night, I looked it up. My stomach dropped when I realized Andre was the son of Reginald Langford, the billionaire industrialist who occasionally appeared on magazine covers. I nearly canceled our second date, convinced we lived in different worlds. He called the next day, voice warm and sincere, and I agreed to see him again. Over the next 6 months, our relationship deepened. Andre never made me feel less than him because of my background. He was just as happy in my favorite diner as he was at upscale places. He took an interest in my portfolio, offering suggestions and asking thoughtful questions. "You have real talent, Janelle," he said. "Any company will be fortunate to have you." He told me he loved me while we walked the Charles River at sunset. No grand gestures, just a simple truth spoken as the light glowed on the water. I realized I loved him too, not for his wealth, but for his kindness, integrity, and the way he made me feel seen. Our different backgrounds appeared now and then, like when he mentioned childhood ski trips in Aspen, or when he did not understand why a $50 bonus meant so much to me. But he listened and learned. For 6 months, we lived in a bubble largely separate from his family and their world. I began to hope our differences would not matter. The invitation arrived on a rainy Tuesday. Andre paused an old movie and said, "My grandparents are celebrating their 60th anniversary next month. There will be a formal dinner at the family estate. I want you there with me." "Your family estate?" I asked, my stomach tightening. "You mean meet everyone?" He nodded. "About 30 guests, mostly family, some close friends, a few business associates. I know it is a lot, but I want them to meet you." For 3 weeks, I obsessed. What would I wear? How would I act? What if I used the wrong fork? My best friend, Naomi, listened over coffee. "You need a dress that makes you feel unshakable," she said, then offered a solution when prices knocked the wind out of me. "I still have that midnight blue silk gown from my cousin's wedding. It will fit you with a few tweaks. And take my pearl earrings." The night before the event, my sister, Imani, called. She had helped raise me after our father left. "Remember who you are," she said. "You are smart, kind, and worthy of respect. Do not let anyone make you feel small. I carried her words with me. The dress fit beautifully. Naomi's earrings added a classic touch. When Andre picked me up in a sleek black sedan driven by a chauffeur, he smiled as if he had forgotten how to breathe. You are stunning, he whispered. He sensed my nerves. They're just people, he said, taking my hand. Wealthy people, yes, but still just people. The Langford estate took my breath away. Manicured gardens, an enormous foyer with a chandelier larger than my apartment, staff moving with quiet precision. Guests arrived in waves, handing off coats, accepting champagne. Andre, called a tall, elegant woman with silver streak hair. She kissed his cheeks before turning to me. And you must be Janelle. Mother, this is Janelle Miller, Andre said. Janelle, my mother, Denise Langford. I shook her hand. Thank you for including me. Her handshake was brief, her smile cool. What a lovely dress. An interesting color for spring. A younger woman bounded up and hugged me. Finally, I am Monica, the cooler Langford sibling, she said, grinning. Andre laughed. My sister lacks subtlety. Monica hooked my arm. Come meet people who actually smile. As we moved through the room, I felt appraising glances. Monica introduced cousins, family friends, and business associates. Most polite, a few patronizing. And what do you do? Asked a woman draped in diamonds. I work at a coffee shop while finishing my degree in graphic design, I said. How quaint, she replied. A barista. How did you and Andre meet? Each time I explained, I saw exchanged looks, thin smiles, the unspoken judgment. I just love those from nothing stories. One guest gushed as if I were a character rather than a person. Andre always did have a charitable heart, murmured another. Monica squeezed my arm. Ignore them. Andre's grandparents, Harold and Loretta, were different. So you're the young woman who put a real smile on our grandson's face, Harold said, clasping my hand. Andre says you are studying design, Loretta added. I would love to hear about your projects. Their warmth steadied me. Eventually, we approached Reginald. He stood among men, discussing stock prices. His gaze flicked over me, then back to his son. Andre. Father, I would like you to meet Janelle Miller. Indeed, he said, gripping my hand too tightly, then releasing it as if I burned him. Dinner was in a room that looked like a museum. Mahogany stretching under crystals, silver set precisely, flowers and candlelight softening the expanse. Place card seated me across from Reginald, with Andre to my right. Monica, farther down, gave me a covert thumbs up. The first course was a delicate soup I cannot name. Conversation orbited boarding schools, private clubs, second homes across the states, and campaign galas. I focused on not making mistakes. Andre tried to draw me in, but each effort only underscored that I did not belong. At least not to them. Miss Miller, Reginald said suddenly, cutting through other talk. Andre tells me you work in a coffee shop. The table quieted. Yes, sir, I said. It helps pay for my education. And you study graphic design? His tone made it sound like stickers and posters. Andre intervened. Janelle is talented. She focuses on brand identity and digital strategy. Reginald ignored him. And where are you from? He asked. A small town in Ohio, I said. Millfield. Never heard of it, he said. What does your father do? Andre stiffened. My father left when I was young, I said evenly. My mother raised us. And what does she do? Retail now. Before that, whatever work she could find. Indeed. From service work to service work through the generations, he said, taking a slow sip of wine. Janelle's mother made incredible sacrifices, Andre said. She deserves respect. Another course arrived, briefly ending the interrogation. Andre squeezed my hand under the table. The questions resumed. Did you attend university immediately after high school, or did you discover your academic ambition later? Is that accent common where you are from? Have you traveled much? No. A pity. Exposure to culture broadens the mind. Each question was shaped to seem harmless and yet bruise. When a main course arrived, my hand trembled, and I bumped my glass, splashing a few drops of red wine onto the white cloth. I'm so sorry, I said. A server whisked in with a napkin. Reginald chuckled. Careful. That wine costs more than you probably make in a week. The room went still. Father, that is enough, Andre said, face flushed. I'm stating facts. Reginald replied, turning back to me. Tell me, is that dress from this season's collection? I do not recall seeing it in my wife's wardrobe. The cruelty was so deliberate several guests glanced down. A friend lent it to me, I said. Borrowed finery, he said, voice slick. Andre began to rise. Sit, Reginald ordered. If your friend plans to be here, she needs thicker skin. My skin is plenty thick, I said quietly. His eyes hardened. Let me be clear, Miss Miller. My son may be temporarily amused by slumming it with you, but you are street garbage in a borrowed dress, and you will never belong in this family. 23 pairs of eyes fixed on me. Monica stared, stricken. Denise looked at her plate. Andre was halfway out of his chair. Everything slowed. I stood, smoothed the blue silk, and lifted my water. Street garbage, I repeated, steady. What an interesting choice of words, Mr. Langford. Thank you. You have just solved the moral dilemma for me. What are you babbling about? He said. Andre believes I only work at a coffee shop. That is partly true. For the past 2 years, I have also worked part-time as an investigative journalist for the Boston Sentinel. A ripple moved around the table. 6 months ago, before I met your son, I was part of a team investigating corporate fraud in the shipping industry. Your name kept appearing. Color drained from Reginald's face. Our investigation found evidence that Langford Industries systematically falsified environmental compliance reports for its cargo fleet, I said. We documented illegal waste dumping in protected American waters, emissions far exceeding reported levels, and a network of bribes to inspection officials across 3 states along the Gulf Coast. When I realized who Andre was, I disclosed the conflict to my editor and removed myself from the investigation. I continued. I asked the paper to delay publication while we secured additional corroboration. I did it out of respect for Andre because I fell in love with him, not to protect you. Andre turned toward me, stunned. Is this true? Yes, I said softly. I did not tell you because I did not want to force you to choose. Reginald half stood, shaking. This is preposterous. I will sue you and your tabloid for defamation. You are welcome to try, I said. The Sentinel's attorneys have vetted every document, photograph, and recording. The story has been ready for months. I was the obstacle. He sneered. Why would they listen to a coffee shop girl? Because the evidence I gathered tied the case together, I said. I took out my phone. Thank you for the clarity, I said, typing. I am removing my objection to publication. I hit send. The Sentinel will run the investigation online at midnight and in print in the morning. Your name is in the headline. The room erupted, gasps, chairs scraping. Reginald leaned toward me, eyes blazing. You have no idea who you're dealing with. I will destroy you. Andre stepped between us. That is enough, father. She used you. Reginald hissed. No, I said. I disclosed and recused. I fell in love with your son despite your name, not because of it. Denise's voice finally rose, tight with fear. Andre, surely you do not believe this over your own father. Andre looked at me, searching. Did you know who I was when we met? No, I said. You were just a man who ordered black coffee with 1 sugar and treated me with respect. He turned to his father. I have questioned those compliance reports for years and been told to mind my lane. I believe her. Several guests made discreet exits. Monica moved closer, folding her arms. Well, she said quietly, this is the most memorable anniversary dinner we have ever had. At the head of the table, Harold rose slowly. Reginald, my office. Now. Reginald stormed out, Denise behind him. I turned to Andre. I should go. I will drive you, he said. I shook my head. Be with your family. If you still want to talk tomorrow, call me. Loretta approached and took my hands. While I am not pleased about tomorrow's news, you showed remarkable courage tonight, she said. Truth, however painful, is better than comfortable lies. I left with my head high. In a taxi through the dark, my phone buzzed. My editor, got your text. Running at midnight. Are you okay? I typed, yes. It is the right decision, and then cried. Not because of Reginald's cruelty, but because doing the right thing might have cost me the person I loved. The Boston Sentinel's headline the next morning read, Langford Industries' environmental fraud and corruption exposed. My byline appeared alongside 2 senior reporters. By noon, national outlets had picked up the story. By evening, The Environmental Protection Agency and the Department of Justice announced preliminary investigations. My phone rang constantly, but not with Andre's name. You did the right thing, Imani said when I answered her call. That man tried to break you, and you stood up. Then why does this feel awful? I asked. Because you care about Andre. Doing the right thing often costs something personal. 3 days later, I returned to work. My manager, Ms. Carter, looked worried. Reporters have asked about you. Are you sure you want to be here? I need normal, I said, and I do not walk away without notice. Around 11, the bell chimed, and Reginald Langford walked in. Conversation around us died. Mr. Langford, I said steadily. What can I get you? A word, he replied. In private. Ms. Carter started toward us. It is all right, I told her. I led him to a quiet corner. Have you come to threaten me in person? I asked. He stared. Underestimated you. Many do, I said. It is my burden and advantage. He exhaled. My attorneys say your reporting is factually accurate, if selectively presented. Lawsuits would likely fail and draw more heat. The board has placed me on leave. Is that an admission? I asked. His jaw tightened. It is an acknowledgement of your thoroughness. What will it take for you to back off? Money? A position? You still do not understand, I said. This was not about money or advancement. It was about the truth. Do you have any idea what the truth will cost? He asked. Hundreds of jobs are at stake. The company my father built could collapse. That is on you, I said. You chose profits over compliance and decided regulations were optional if no one looked. He studied me, something like reluctant respect flickering. My son has not been home in 3 days. His mother is distraught. Whatever you are playing, I love Andre, I said. This is not a game. I have not heard from him, either. For a moment, he looked almost human. He has always been too idealistic, he muttered, and left. That evening, as I was making dinner, there was a knock. Andre stood at my door, unshaven and exhausted. Hi, he said. Hi. I said, my heart pounding. I stepped aside. We both started talking at once. I should have told you. I should have called. He gestured for me to go first. I should have told you about the investigation, I said. I convinced myself I was protecting you. Really, I was afraid of losing you. I needed time, he said, to look at the evidence, to confront my father, to think about us. And I asked. The evidence is irrefutable, he said. He did everything your article claims, and more. I found files your team did not have. He rubbed his face. I spent my life looking up to him. I knew he was harsh, but I believed he ran the business with integrity. We sat on the couch, space between us. Where have you been? I asked. A hotel, he said. Meeting with company attorneys. Talking with my grandfather about next steps. Thinking about what comes next for us. What conclusion did you reach? I asked. That I fell in love with a woman braver and more principled than I realized, he said, taking my hand. I am angry you did not trust me, but I understand why. I am sorry I did not stand up to my father sooner. He swallowed. My family is in chaos. My mother will not speak to me. Monica thinks I did the right thing. What happens to the company? I asked. Granddad is stepping back as interim chief executive officer, he said. We will cooperate with the investigations and make restitution. It will be a long road. He looked at me. As for us, I'm not ending this. I am saying we rebuild slowly, with complete honesty, if you are willing. I am, I said. More than willing. 6 months blur by. The Langford scandal became one of the year's biggest corporate fraud cases. Our initial article sparked federal investigations and fines exceeding $300 million. Reginald was indicted on charges of fraud, bribery, and violations of the Clean Water Act. Several executives faced similar charges. The fallout was severe. The stock lost nearly 40% of its value. Divisions were restructured or sold. Innocent employees suffered. I wrestled with guilt. You did not hurt those workers, my editor said. Reginald did. I proposed a new series on the human cost of corporate fraud and the path to rebuilding. The newspaper gave me a team. We interviewed former employees who lost everything, scientists documenting environmental damage, community leaders in coastal towns impacted by illegal dumping, and whistleblowers silenced inside the company. We included resources and examples of companies that reformed. Andre resigned from Langford Industries and launched a foundation supporting ethical business practices and environmental restoration. prioritizing hires from the ranks of those displaced by the scandal. I cannot undo what my father did, he said as we walked the harbor one evening. But I can build something good from the wreckage. Our relationship healed slowly. We started over on new terms. No secrets, even when the truth stung. There were difficult conversations and setbacks, but our bond strengthened. Denise refused to see me and stood by Reginald at court appearances, her face a mask of controlled pain. Monica became an ally. You showed more backbone at one dinner than I have seen at 20 years of gatherings, she told me over coffee. Someone had to puncture the myth that we were untouchable. Most surprising was my relationship with Harold and Loretta. Rather than blaming me for the crisis, they invited us to a private lunch a month after the story broke. We built this company on principles, Harold said, heavy with disappointment. Somewhere along the way, Reginald forgot that profit without purpose is empty. Loretta took my hand. You forced a necessary reckoning, she said. It is painful, but perhaps it will save the soul of what remains. 8 months after the dinner, we met Reginald again in a conference room at his attorney's office. His trial approached. He looked smaller, the arrogance gone. I underestimated you, Miss Miller, he said. A mistake I will not make again. Why did you want to see me? I asked. He glanced between us. To acknowledge I was wrong. Not about the decisions. I believe they were necessary for growth. He paused. But about you. You were not what I called you that night. It was as close to an apology as he could manage. He faced Andre. I thought your idealism was weakness. Recent events suggest otherwise. Is that all? Andre asked. Reginald nodded. My attorneys expect a plea deal. I will likely serve time. He gave a brittle laugh. From boardrooms to prison cells. Quite a fall. We left in silence. Andre squeezed my hand. Are you all right? I think so, I said. It closes a chapter. It changes nothing, but it closes it. In the years since I was called street garbage in a borrowed dress, my life transformed. My career flourished. I received a full-time position, national assignments, and a book deal on corporate accountability. I testified before congressional committees about environmental enforcement and oversight. The coffee shop worker found her voice. More importantly, the insecurity that once made me feel unworthy in Andre's world was replaced by a quiet confidence. I understood that value is not bestowed by wealth or pedigree. I learned that standing up for the truth can cost dearly, but that silence in the face of wrongdoing costs more. Andre and I moved into a modest but comfortable apartment. He poured his energy into the foundation, working harder than he ever had, but with purpose that energized him. We built a life around shared values rather than shared privilege. On our 1-year anniversary, we returned to the Italian restaurant where it began. After dinner, Andre reached across the table for my hand. My grandmother says the measure of a person is not what they have, but what they stand for, he said. She also told me that when you find someone who makes you want to be your best self, you do not let them go. Later, as we walked along the Charles River where he first told me he loved me, Andre stopped. My father called you street garbage in a borrowed dress, he said softly. But you showed everyone what true class and integrity look like. You taught me that real worth has nothing to do with wealth. We learned hard lessons, I said. Empires built on lies fall, he replied. Relationships built on truth endure. We kept walking under the lights, the river moving beside us. A moment designed to break me had instead set me free. Reginald's cruelty had become the catalyst for truth, change, and growth. The path was painful, but it led to something real. That night in the Langford mansion taught me this. Our worth is defined not by other people's judgment, but by our actions and integrity. Sometimes it takes being called garbage to discover your gold. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a powerful story drop.